Hey girl, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Ebony and I make videos about locks and lifestyle stuff. And today we are talking about 2025, going into 2026, our reflections, our dreams, our wants, our needs, checking in with self, okay? This is that time of year where you really, I like to really sit down and reflect before I go into the new year. So much stuff has happened in 2025. Like, bro, in my life specifically, I can only speak for myself. It's been crazy. I don't know how it's been for y'all, but it's been crazy over here, okay? I've had some high highs. I've had some low lows. Like, when I tell you 2025 did not hold any punches, to the point where I can't believe that I am in December of 2025 and I feel like I just haven't had a moment to like sit down and like sit in what the hell was going on. Like, yeah, so this is what I'm hoping this is for. Come into this space if you just want some time to be able to just sit and reflect with your girl, have a cup of tea, okay, or some coffee. Get you a book or a journal or something where you can write on. You use your phone if you want. I'm using the self-care habit building journal by one of my best friends, Isoke, and just using it to write down my reflections. Don't look at my right hand, y'all. I need my nails done so bad. But that's about the year. That's 2025, okay? But yeah, let's get into it. I started pulling some journal prompts and some questions that we can ask ourselves to start this process. I think the most important thing before starting 2026 like goal setting is reflecting on 2025, figuring out the things that we loved, hated, want more of, want less of, and then we can like actually decide who the heck we want to be and what we want for 2026 in a more informed and guided way, like after developing like a North Star that we can say, this is what I want actually, you know? I think it's hard to like be your best self when you don't know what that self is. So I hope that these questions and these prompts really come in handy for you the same way that they will be coming in handy for me. Let's get into it. Okay, so the first set of questions are really about knowing yourself and how well you think you know yourself. I feel like for me, I have been on a journey in the last few years to really just know me, know what I want, and know who I am. And it has really helped to try to decouple what I want from things that like my parents might want, or my friends might want, my family might want, or think that they know more like better than me about. Something that I worked on in these past few years is like what makes me proud versus what I'm realizing is making someone else proud. As someone who I can tend to be like a people pleaser a little bit, and honestly there's part of that which is like I get joy from making people around me happy. That is who I am. Like that is something I've learned. That is who I am. But how much are the things that I am truly, genuinely joyful about doing for others? And what do I think is like kind of like keeping me in a box or denying myself of things too? Like I don't want to do that. So yes, there has been a lot of inner work going on, okay? And I think that those are some good questions to ask yourself. What are the things that you realize you do just for you? And what are you realizing that you might be doing for other people that does not serve you, okay? But okay, getting into this. Would 2024 you be proud of you this year? That is our number one question to start with. We are almost done with 2025. We always set goals. Everybody make a vision board. Your 2024 you. Do you remember the goals that you had? Do you remember how what you said, how you wanted to feel? Would she be proud of you if she looked at your year, okay, right now? And this should not be an inherently negative question. If it comes out negative and you feel bad and you're like, oh no, she would be disappointed, That's actually good information to take in, okay? And it helps to inform what you need to do for 2026. Like, do you need to set up new systems? Do you need to throw that out and start fresh? You know, there were some goals I set for work at the top of this year. And I was talking to my mentor, which one of my goals was to get a mentor. So shout out to that. But I was talking to my mentor and she was like, hey, I realized like a lot of your stuff changed. You came in initially saying that you wanted XYZ and you haven't done it, but I actually think you're happier now. So like, how do you feel about that? And I was like, whoa, that's so true. If I were to just look at the piece of paper, I would have been disappointed that I didn't accomplish some of the things that I said. But to her point, I realized that my goals changed halfway through and I didn't like inform myself. I actually am so proud and I'm so happy that I went in a different direction. And I have such a better situation at work than when I started. And I think what I did was I wrote what I wrote what the output should be, but I didn't focus on like the avenue I needed to take to get there. So the avenue changed, however, the output was the same. So although the exact things didn't match up, I still ended up in the place that I wanted to be, which was happy with my job and getting a promotion. So literally, I was like, oh my gosh, you're so right. So yeah, would 2024 you will be proud of you right now, okay? That's a really good one. Now, if you need help to figure out, like if you never set goals before and you're like, I don't even know where to begin. I don't have anything for 2024 that I could have looked at that I could have been like, you know, I would recommend that you describe the girl of your dreams, meaning the you of your dreams. So for me, who is Dream Ebony? Who is my ideal state? Who is the Ebony that when I was 15, I was like, this is who I'm gonna be, okay? And if it's different now, you know, I'm freaking 31. Like, who is that dream 31-year-old Ebony, okay? What does she look like? What does she like to do for fun? What are her friends like? What's her job? What does a day look like for this Ebony, okay? Literally write it down. When I tell you, you need to get so specific that you have, you draw a character and she got, you know, you draw a little Ebony and you have her hair done and her nails done and whatever it is. Like when I tell you embody it and put it on the page, it helps so much to embody it in real life when you have a view of it, okay? I had a day this year where I sat down and I was like, whoa, I'm in such a good mood. And I was like, oh my, everything is right. Like the sun is shining. I'm outside. I was sitting by myself, drinking a glass of wine. It was like a Saturday, reading a book for the book club that I'm in. And I was at a restaurant and I had ordered like some calamari, y'all. It was delicious. Like I was like, whoa, right? And I had an out of body experience where I was like, this was the dream life I wrote down. I wrote it down. I literally said I wanted to be able to have an amazing, like one of my dream days would be me sitting down, feeling amazing, feeling beautiful, reading a book, being close enough to my friends that they can just stop by. I had two really good friends. They both stopped by to visit me while I was sitting down reading and we just caught up. I literally felt like I was in an episode of freaking Sex and the City or Girlfriends. Like it was like, my life felt like a movie, okay? And I was literally just sitting down, reading a book and drinking some wine. But it literally, I had written down what I wanted my days to look like. You know what I mean? And it feels so simple, but that is how I knew. I said, boom, I'm having deja vu. I'm on the right path. I am on the right path, okay? So, yeah, write down what that dream you is and get so granular. And for 2026, I know we're just reflecting right now, but for 2026, you should try your best to embody that, even in just the smallest little things it is. So like, for example, if I wanted to read more, one of the things is like, I wanted to feel a bit smarter. Like I scroll a lot, I'm watching a lot, whatever. I want to still feel like I'm intellectual. I still want to feel like I'm smart. Well, guess what? I'm joining a book club then. And guess what? Now my Saturdays look like that. You know what I mean? Or I really wanted to be able to hang out with my friends more. Well, guess what? I make more dates with my friends. You know what I mean? Like, it's as simple as that. Okay, so that is the first one, which honestly became like 3 things in one, and it's a lot. There's a lot there, because I think like to know yourself is to do like 95% of the work. Like, when you are who you say you are and who you want to be, everything comes from that. Like, everything comes from that. So yeah, start there. Ooh, and one last thing I'm gonna say about the knowing yourself portion is I stumbled upon the quote again from Insecure, which, mind you, I have not rewatched Insecure from seeing it the first time, but there's one thing that really stuck with me, and it was when, what's her name, Amanda Seale's character was talking to Issa about her relationship, and the other girls were like, no, it'd be dumb if you got back with Lawrence, like, especially because he got a baby. Like, it just don't make no sense. It would be stupid, right? And Amanda says, well, it doesn't have to be the smart decision. It just needs to be the right decision for you. Now, am I telling you to apply this to your dysfunctional relationship? No. But I am saying that when you do know yourself and you allow yourself to really decouple what other people might be thinking, what, you know, your mama might have said that she wanted you to do, to go back to law school and you don't want to, whatever. It doesn't have to be the textbook smart decision. Knowing yourself means doing what's right with you, what's right for you, and being able to go to sleep at night. Okay? Like, that's truly what it is. And it gives you so much peace to be able to say, I know myself. I'm following my gut feeling and I'm following me. I have written down what my dream person is, and my dream person would not do that. She would do this though. That is the right decision. That is always going to be the right decision, period. Point blank. Okay, the next thing I want to challenge you guys to have as a journal prompt is expectation versus output. This year has been so insane. And it's really challenged me to look at my relationships a little bit differently. That means family, friendship, and romantic. Expectations are really interesting because they are not things. Expectations are generally not things that you have said aloud, that you have talked to the other person about, and you guys have both shaken your hands and made an agreement. No, they're things that you had in your head about the relationship that you expected to be done, or you expected them to go one way and they didn't, okay? And it leads to a lot of disappointment when you have certain expectations. However, also, there are also certain expectations that should just be met, okay? So yeah, expectations can be tricky sometimes. It's not a bad thing to have them. We all have them. Every single person in this world has them. And you might even be like, no, I don't. Yes, you do. You have expectations, and you should. Like, especially for relationships, like, we should feel a certain level of obligation towards each other. That is not a bad thing at all. That is something we should expect. Like, if I have a best friend, I have expectations of my best friend versus a friend versus an acquaintance, okay? That is normal. But I do challenge you to wonder if the expectations you have for others, on the flip side, could they say that those expectations are being met on your end, okay? And that's where the expectation versus output comes in. Are you expecting things that you do not provide? And are you providing things that you never expect from someone in return? Like, this is like something that you really got to investigate, because you might realize that you have always been in a lopsided relationship, and you were trying to figure out what it is. Like, why do you feel depleted? It's because it's lopsided, you know, or vice versa. Are you always getting something out of this relationship and you never give? Like, that might be a problem, you know? And this goes for all types of relationships. Like, family is a really good one, because now that I'm getting older, there is more that I'm realizing I need to put into my relationships for them to continue to flourish. I'm not a kid anymore. My mom is not setting up play dates with my cousins and whatever. We all have our lives and we all need to make time for each other. If I want the tight family unit that I've always had, guess what I gotta do? I gotta call my cousins. I gotta see when my aunt is coming to town and how I can take her to lunch. You know what I mean? Or whatever it is. Or a fair for the kids, you know, for the nieces and nephews, because when I have a baby, I want the same thing. I want my nieces and nephews to take my baby out too, you know. So like little things like that. I'm speaking of just family, but same thing, romantic relationships. Are you expecting things that you don't provide, and vice versa? Are you always putting in way too much? Girl, let's think about this, okay? Friendships are a really big one because a lot of people want community. Are you community for people? Like, these are questions to ask, you know, ask yourselves and reflect on. And then who, like your best friend in the world, when you write that person down, okay, the same way you wrote down your dream self, when you write that person down, like, are you a good friend to her? Are you that person to somebody else? Let's see. The next one is, what is your biggest lesson learned in 2025? And take some time to think about this one, because I have been like noodling on this for a good chunk of the year. And this has to do with work for me, but it could apply to like any part of life for someone else. The main thing, okay, the soundbite is, what am I going to do about it? Okay, so specifically for me, I was having an issue at work where I wasn't seeing eye to eye with someone, and it was really like negatively impacting my work day. And any single time somebody would ask me how's work, I'd be like, oh my gosh, like I'm so annoyed, XYZ, this person. And I finally said, you know what, Ebony, I'm sick of your shit. Okay, I was like, what am I going to do about this? Because it's always about this person and it's always about this thing that's not going to change. This person is not going to change, and I'm not leaving. I love my freaking job. I love my job. So I was like, I'm not going to leave. So what am I going to do about it? Because I'm tired of telling people that I'm annoyed when they ask me. Like, I'm sick of it. Okay? I need to be able to say the next time somebody asks me that I'm having an amazing time. Okay? So with that being said, I had to look inward and say, what are things that I'm going to change about my experience or about my work balance and all whatever, so that I am having a better time? And it was not just a one size fits all thing. It was actually a bunch of little things that I needed to like reframe. But let me tell you something. A lot of it had to do with myself, okay? When, like, there is some peace that comes with knowing that someone else isn't going to change, because then I can stop trying to go in this direction. Instead, I can look outside of that and find value in other things and work around them. So, long story short, if anybody asks me now, I'm actually having the time of my life. I'm having a great time. I don't have any bad things to say. And it's just because I needed to reframe and change my own behavior to work around the systems at play. And I really think that this is something that can apply to a lot of different situations. Sometimes we get stuck in the thing of like, oh, like, why haven't you done this thing? Like, let's say if it's working out, I'm just so busy. I'm busy. I don't know where to start. I don't have a gym membership, or like blah, 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 blah. And it's going to take, if one of your goals, you know, for 2025, as you're reflecting, was to get fit and you didn't do it, like for 2026, it's going to be the fact that you need to change your system in order to reach that goal. Okay? Either that, or be sick of the fact that you keep talking about it and take it off the list, y'all. Just take it off the list, and you know what I mean? But if you actually want to get fit, this is just a random example, then you're going to have to change your systems. Then you're going to have to change your schedule in the day. Then you're going to have to make it work. Like, or you're going to have to set a timer and be disciplined about it. Put a free YouTube video on and do the same video every single day. Y'all, I started doing freaking the Taibo YouTube videos for when I don't feel like going to the gym, because I'm sick of my stuff. I'm sick of saying that I can't make it, you know? So just like things like that, it's like we can say all day, oh, but I don't, and I don't, and I Like, TikTok is notorious. Oh my gosh, y'all, those comments, the bean soup comments, where it's like, yeah, easy for you to say, but I don't XYZ. What are you gonna do about it? What are you going to do about it? Okay, so that is my very big lesson learned. I needed to tell myself that. What the heck are you gonna do about it, Ebony? I'm tired of this. I'm tired of hearing it. And it has really changed the outlook of my life. Okay, there will always be something. You gotta just freaking do it, babe. Okay. A little bit of tough love for myself. Okay, and now we're nearing on the last couple of questions. The second to last one is, what was one of your best days or best moments this year? Really sit and think about them. Go through all of like the most fun you had, the biggest laugh, or the most like you felt at peace, or just a beautiful day that you had. Like, y'all, I literally just described the one where I was sitting there reading a book on a nice day and my friends visited. That is one of my best days of the year. Okay, on top of the fact that, of course, I got engaged and then my fiance surprised me with my two best friends in Paris. That is up there, okay? But describe your best days, because also one of my best days is right in the midst of one of the worst days when my family lost their homes in the Altadena fires. One of my best days has to do with us all coming together and being there for each other. So literally, it could be small, it could be large, but think about those best days. Think about how you felt, what you did, and let that inform what you want to do more of for 2026, less of, whatever it is. But let those be a North Star for how you want your days to feel in the future, or how you want your relationships to feel, or whatever it is that was so amazing. If it was a trip to Disneyland, how can you go again next year? You know what I mean? If it was a really good meal that you had, then how can you get some more of those in 2026? Okay, let's feel good. Let's have some good days. And then my last one is, oh, yes, this was my last one. It says, what do you want more of? And that's exactly what we're talking about. How can we get more of this? Okay. And yeah, so these are my 2025 reflections. I am sitting here thinking about them with you guys right now, but I'm actually right after this going to sit down and write these things down so that I can go into my 2026 planning with clear mind, with a North Star that I'm reaching towards. And I really just love being able to sit down and reflect. It's such a blessing that we've even made it to the end of this year. And I like to take my fun seriously. I like to take my life seriously. If I want to have a great life, I need to be serious about it, okay? And plan it. Things don't just happen by chance all the time, okay? So these are the moments that you sit down and you get serious about your life, which is a good thing. And yeah, happy planning, happy reflecting. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.